Hi everyone, this is MsBelinda Payne and welcome to our Sunday morning devotion. It's Sunday, May the 23rd, 2021, and our devotion for the day, put your best foot forward. Put your best foot forward. So I've got a couple questions just to get us started. So what's stopping you today from putting your best foot forward? What excuses have you been making for not moving forward and doing and accomplishing the goal that the Lord put in your heart to do? You've been saying it for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 6 months, whatever it is. What's stopping you? What's blocking you? I can tell you, it's you. You are blocking and hindering yourself from what? Putting your best foot forward. Proverbs 12:24 and the ESV version says, "The hand of the diligent will rule, while the slothful will endure forced labor." What does this mean in this verse? Forced labor means hard labor. It means to work as a slave or to continue to work with a slave mentality when there's no reason for you to do that. So the writer says instead of working with a slave mentality or as a slave, we are to work and to live our lives and position ourselves as a leader. We're to be leaders in life. We are not, again, so naive to believe that we're all going to be CEOs or CFOs of a company. That's not what the writer means. But what he does mean is that we should be incentivized. This should be an incentive for us to strive to lead in all that we do. It doesn't matter whether you're a happy homemaker. It doesn't matter if you're working in fast food, a grocery store, or you're a manager of a 500 Fortune 500 company. What he's saying is that we should all what? Work and lead our lives in such a way that we have the mentality that I am a leader. I'm a leader. I'm passionate about what I do, and I lead out in what I do every day. So work diligently, what? To gain control over your life so that you're not what? Slothful or lazy. But remember that working harder also means that you work smarter in life. Okay? So if you need to go back to school, take a class, get more CEU education courses done. Maybe you need to get certified, recertified in something. Maybe you just need to pick up a book, put down the phone, cut off the internet, and literally pick up a book in your hand and read it and learn something. Expand your territory, expand your knowledge by just reading the old-fashioned way, right? Look at this. King Solomon tells us that we shall be happy when we obtain wisdom, which comes only from God. You cannot buy it. You cannot learn it. It has to come from God, giving us his wisdom because it belongs to God. But also he says that we're to get an understanding. That comes from Proverbs chapter 3, verse 13. The King Solomon, in this verse, he re-emphasizes to us the importance that, yes, get wisdom, but also get an understanding that they have to work in concert with one another. They work congruently. They work in tandem. There's not a competition between wisdom and understanding. They work together. And then Solomon comes back, and he has a very unique way of saying this. He tells us in Proverbs chapter 4 and 7, he says the first step at being wise is to what? Seek wisdom. So, the first thing to do if you want to obtain wisdom is to recognize that you need wisdom. So that's the first step. Then once we do that, then we become what? Wise people, because we have recognized we can't do things on our own. We need the wisdom of God in order to live fruitful lives. The king says that getting this wisdom is the principal thing, PAL. Just like in school, the principal was what? He was the one in charge. So what does that mean? In this case, in the scripture, its principle is the utmost thing to do. It's preeminent. That's what should be preeminent in our life. That's what we want to pursue. Not a relationship, not a job, not our finances, but we should want to pursue wisdom. That should take precedence over everything else in our life, and that wisdom is going to come from God. We couple that wisdom with the dual importance of what? Getting an understanding. What does understanding mean? It means that we grasp something, that we gain insight, or that we have an awareness of a situation so that we know how to apply that wisdom to our circumstances. That's when we become successful. We put wisdom and understanding together, and then we're able to what? Make better choices. James, in the book of James, the writer comes along in the New Testament. He says, you know what? You're not even with excuse. We are without excuse, James says. He says, because why? If anyone lacks wisdom, they are to go to God in prayer, ask God to give them the wisdom, and God will surely give it to that individual without reservation or without any hesitation. That's what James is telling us. James 1:5 says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally. So liberally means what? Freely. All, anyone. Then he says, and upbraideth not, meaning he's not going to restrict it, and he's not going to be selective. If you need it and you ask for it, he's going to give it. He's not going to be partial and only give it to certain people. He says, and what? And it shall be given him. So what do you need today? If you need wisdom, who are you going to ask? Ask God. That way you will begin to avoid what? Making needless mistakes. And maybe then, not maybe, I know, you'll begin to sleep better at night because you're making better decisions throughout the day. So you need wisdom. Again, what are we going to do? Pray to the Father and ask the Lord to release within you his spirit of wisdom and to give you understanding so you know how to apply the wisdom that he gives you in every situation that you face.